Spurs Bros, welcome into episode 17. Today we've got a fantastic episode. Rumor mills ablazing. De'Aaron Fox, come on home to San Antonio, buddy. Come back to Texas. We're here to welcome you with open arms. We're going to get into all the different trade packages that Alec and Stu and Tim and myself all want to see happen to make De'Aaron Fox come home to Texas. We are going to touch on the NBA Paris games. We're going to touch on the disappointing loss to the Clippers today, but our focus is 100% on the incoming trade deadline, just 8 days away from today, from time of recording, and all the different scenarios that have been discussed over the past 36 hours that could end up in all-star point guard De'Aaron Fox making his way to the San Antonio Spurs roster. So tune in, please. Subscribe, like, and share this video with all of your fellow Spurs bros and friends, anybody interested in the NBA and who's looking for some more input on the De'Aaron Fox trade rumor mill. Tell them to tune in and subscribe to this podcast because we will be covering it very thoroughly over the next 8 days until the trade deadline has come and gone. Episode 17 of the Spurs Bros Podcast is coming at you right now.
Imagine looking up at Wemby in his eyes and be like, all right, buddy, hear me out. We're gonna tank again. like you can't just do that. You can't just do that to Wemby, dude. Like,
that's true.
Like, you really, Brian, you're gonna go tell him after all you did, we won 22 games your first year in the league, and then you come and you put in all this work. You're gonna be an all-star, you're gonna be DPOY, you're gonna do all this stuff. Hear me out, buddy. Look, we got this plan. There's this Trey Johnson guy at around the eight spot. I promise he's gonna be the killer. So, like, I don't know. That doesn't work. I feel like Wemby would be like, come on, do something, man. Do something. Alrighty, Spurs Bros. Welcome to another edition of the Spurs Bros Podcast. I am your host, Alec Bogus. These are my co-hosts, Stu, Tim, and Reagan, my boys. I missed y'all. It's been a week, but I missed y'all. Spurs Bros, we have some wee-woo, red alert, breaking news for you. In case you haven't seen by now, if you are but even if you're casual, I'm sure you've seen this on Twitter by now. The Spurs have been heating up in trade talks with a man by the name of De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is a perennial all-star. He's averages 25 points a game, 6 assists, 6 rebounds about in his prime. And he was somebody that we started to talk about a couple episodes ago about maybe a potential suitor for us. Huge news. We got to get into it. So I just want to give y'all the mic. Let's talk about this thing, man.
I've been scrolling Twitter. I'll tell you what. I have been deep in it. I was what did I say earlier? I was so deep into Twitter. The Kings on their Twitter account literally posted a picture of DeMar DeRozan and I was like, "Oh, there's no Fox, so he must be traded in a week, like it's guaranteed." I've been looking at De'Aaron's wife's Twitter responses that she finally came out and put out at like 1:30 a.m. overnight. I'm looking at Kings beat writers. I'm looking at Spurs beat writers, people from France weighing in. Dude, everybody's talking about this. Shams is going on ESPN saying that the Kings are fielding dozens of offers for De'Aaron Fox. So there's a lot to get into.
Yes.
But the first thing is, in all the people that I've talked to in the past like 36 hours, the one thing that seems to like not be really talked about or registering very much is the fact that the Spurs have all the leverage in this scenario. And that is because De'Aaron Fox's agent, Rich Paul of Clutch Sports, has come out and said that the preferred destination is San Antonio. De'Aaron Fox will not sign a long-term extension with Sacramento, and he is not guaranteed to sign a long-term extension anywhere else other than San Antonio. That puts the ball in our court, and what the price you would think would normally get paid for a guy, an all-star like De'Aaron Fox, is automatically lowered. At least it should be. The assumption that we will have, basically a guarantee from Fox's side saying that we will sign an extension come this summer to stay in San Antonio long term, we're going to assume that's going to be in place to make any sort of trade. Otherwise, everything is off the table. But in the meantime, we have the leverage. We shouldn't have to give up as many picks as you would expect, like 5 or whatever, 6 for Mikal Bridges.
Right.
That was a New York cross the river discount, whatever, like the price should not be that high. Do y'all agree with me, or am I like, because I'm the only one that I feel like is really mentioning this in my personal daily life? Am I crazy for saying that we have all the leverage?
Maybe not all the leverage, but I get what you're saying with the news coming out that we're his preferred destination and his unwillingness to sign the extension. Like that would make it terrifying for, Brooklyn has been thrown out there, Houston, Orlando. Like that would make it terrifying to trade so many picks for maybe 1 year of Fox. And like you said, I think he would sign the extension if we traded for him. It'd be almost a guarantee, he's staying, he's going to be here. So yeah, I get what you're saying for sure.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. The other thing, if you go deep into the Twitter sphere over the last day and a half, is his fiance or his wife, I forget, pardon me, Reese, but Reese, his significant other, went to Johnson High School in San Antonio.
He's McDonald's All-American.
Yeah.
I know that.
She's a certified hooper.
Yeah, dude, she has roots.
Went to UCLA. Yeah, her parents grew up in San Antonio. The new stuff came out recently. Their current like neighbors in their neighborhood in Sacramento. Apparently, Fox and his wife have been telling them the past months now that they've been looking at land in San Antonio to build on it. So it's been in their mind, whether it's her family, her planting in his mind like, hey, your contract's up. Wemby's in San Antonio. I'm from there. You're from Houston area. Let's go home. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, but to your leverage point, Reagan, I think we have a lot of leverage, yes, but ultimately Sacramento still has all the leverage, I guess, because they can just not trade him. But then they're obviously risking just losing him for nothing in a year and a half.
For nothing.
But do we want to waste another year and a half of Wemby's career and year and a half of 500 days of us just sobbing about Spurs basketball? No. So like they know we kind of want to start getting to it too and winning. So I mean,
it comes back to the same thing though. Like we just lost again to the Clippers, which we're going to talk about. That sucked. But if you go look at the standings now, Spurs are 20-23, pretty solidly relatively in the West. We're solid in the 12th spot right now. Like if we don't go get Fox, our pick becomes more valuable. We hold on to all the other assets that we have in terms of picks. And we go stack up in a loaded 2025 draft. De'Aaron Fox can go do whatever he wants to do a year and a half from now. Maybe he still ends up on our roster when we have more cap flexibility. But like, if we're not good this year, fine, we go load up in the draft. If we're able to trade for Fox, it accelerates our timeline and we're more competitive sooner. And then if they can't get the deal done with us or anybody else, they're SOL because Fox is going to walk and go sign a maximum for $60 million less than he would get if he were to stay with the Kings. He's out. He's already said, I've gotten paid. Like, I'm dipping.
Yeah,
and he wants to force this at the deadline because if he doesn't get traded at the deadline, it's another difference of like another about $75 million. So if he were to get traded now before the deadline and then extend with us or someone else, that contract would be about $269 million. But if he doesn't get traded and extends now, he becomes an unrestricted free agent after next season and then goes and signs a maximum deal. That maximum deal, due to this current CBA, would only be worth about $216 million. So he'd be losing out on $60 to $70 million. That's why the push from Clutch is coming to get this deal done in the next 7 days.
Rich is like, man, I got to get a cut of that 60 mil.
Yeah, for real.
For real.
Yeah.
For real. So again,
the fact of the matter is, though, do y'all want? Yes, we all know Spurs have been loving this draft for the past 5 years now. Well, that's why we've been waiting for it. Do we want 2 new 18-year-olds on our roster this summer, boys? Well, what is that going to do for us? Just another 3 years for them to start really getting into the NBA basketball and feeling themselves, like Keldon and Devin, where they are today, which is pretty good, still not, but they think about how far they've come over the past 3-4 years. I don't want to start fresh with another 18-year-old kid who's going to come in, doesn't have NBA body, not ready. Like Wemby's year 3, Wemby next year. He's ready to, for sure, at least be in the guaranteed playoffs, not even play in next year. We need to be a top 6 seed next year to have a for sure, and we're going to be in a series.
Correct. I think you're right about that. I think we are better off having a contending team, a competitive team, and drafting well, and having that person who is drafted in the first round overperforming because they have to do less of a role than somebody else, like you just said. an 18-year-old or two more 18-year-olds. And, Wemby's got to take on more load. Same with Devin Vassell. We've seen how that's playing out for sure. Yeah.
And we know how deep this draft is this year anyways. I'm not giving up both of our Chicago. We can give up Chicago's and either Atlanta's or our first round this year, a part of this trade package or whatever. But I'm not giving Atlanta and ours this year. And then we still have probably, even if we get De'Aaron, maybe he doesn't get fully, fit with Wemby and we still lose in the play-in or something like that. At least we played a play-in game, and then at least he already has half a season with Wemby. So then we're going into the off-season. He gets comfortable in San Antonio with his wife, and then we already start the year. Yeah, full training camp, all that. I think this little half season can make a massive difference. Again, whether it makes a difference in this year's playoff run or not, whatever, but just the fact of getting acclimated back to San Antonio and, getting used to Wemby and all that, it takes time.
Yes. Well said, boys. I completely agree. So,
all right, so let's hear the packages. Let's hear what we got.
With all that said, assuming we all want the man, which I do, I mean, the way that he's gone about his business.
Well, we'll see how bad everyone wants him. Let's see.
Well, okay. Right. But because of how he's carried himself, Reagan, like you said, he has already come out and said publicly, like, I've already made my money. I'm trying to go win now. And how he's talked to the press about it when he's been asked, hey, I've been hearing the trade talks. He's like, yes, of course I have. But he's been very professional. Very cordial about it. He's just like a true.
He did say that he did not request a trade, so he can get off with that because he's having Clutch make all.
I was going to say that they said Rich Paul went in and demanded the trade. Yeah. He didn't. Yeah. He said, I talked with my advisors.
Their assistant GM is the one leaking all this. I also found that out getting deep into Spurs Twitter too. So.
Right, but look. No, I know, but here's the thing is the way he's going about it is why I like, in the sense of, he said, I'm still going to compete my butt off for the Kings compared to, say, Jimmy Butler, who's the literally complete opposite, the absolute opposite end of the spectrum. So, and again, he wants to win. He's clutch. He's a point guard. We need a point guard, a guy who can go get a bucket when we need one. He's all the things. So, yes, assuming we all want him, what does everyone's trade package look like for him? I'll go last.
Reagan, you had yours fired up.
Okay. I just checked in the trade machine right before we logged in here. So told me it was a success. But my trade package, first player would be Devin Vassell, and combined with Devin, I'm going to send Trey Jones. So we got Devin Vassell, Trey Jones as the two actual players that we send out, and then a total of 4 draft picks. The first one being the 2025 first round via Chicago, the 2025 first round via Charlotte, the 2026 Atlanta swap rights, and then the 2028 second round via Minnesota. And I picked those because I think, you see 3 firsts there, but it's not as detrimental to the Spurs as, I don't think any of us are really expecting either the Chicago or the Charlotte picks to convey this year. Those protections drop in 2026 and 2027. The 26 Atlanta swap could be very valuable depending on how things shake out. Jalen Johnson just went down this year. Yes, we think they might end up tanking this year, but then if things go really bad, they might blow it all up. And then you throw in a second round pick for a sweetener at the end in 2028 via Minnesota. So those are my things.
Boom. So just to recap: Devin Vassell, Trey Jones, the 2025 Chicago pick, Charlotte pick, Atlanta swap in 26, and then 28 Minnesota pick.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Beautiful. All right.
Love it. I don't think they would take it, but I love it.
All right.
I think they want admittedly, that's like a bit Spurs favored. Like, I don't think we're quite there.
I would do that for sure. So to get numbers right and stuff, I'm going Devin, Trey. Anyone who's not including Trey, I think is kind of bonkers. He's on expiring contract this year. That's like a perfect trade piece, like, because he's a point guard. So Trey, Devin, and Keldon, and then I'm going 4 firsts, and we get in return Fox and Herter to make the money work. We can't just do like those 3 guys just for Fox. They would then have to throw, because now put them in the second apron and all that, did all the apron stuff. Yeah. So they would have to throw in another guy who's on a smaller contract like a Herter. I've seen a lot of Alex Len, backup center for us, but Alex Len doesn't really get the name. But
I'd rather Herter than Lynn in that
for
scenario.
sure, because Herter is a sniper for a second group. I would love that.
Yes.
And then 4 first. My other one, real quick. This was the one I'd pull real quick. I saw this one earlier. 3-teamer between us, Bulls, them. We're trading Harrison and CP 5 firsts. We just get Fox. Sacramento gets Levine and 2 firsts. Chicago gets 3 firsts and Harrison and CP. I'm doing that one in a heartbeat. I love Harrison. In my opinion, they've only been here for a cup of coffee. We don't owe them shit. We can just throw them away after half of a season. 5 firsts. I mean, 2 guys we didn't even have in the offseason, then we just unload them and get Fox for it. We keep all the young talent, which everyone seems to want in some sort of way. So that would be my for sure go-to. I would do that.
That would be, yeah. That 5 first is tough to swallow.
Right.
And then you have to look at it from Sacramento's perspective that they're turning into the Sacramento Bulls.
Yeah.
Because they got Levine.
They got Levine. They got DeRozan.
But
that's what they're saying is they want win now guy. That's what Sacramento can say. They want win. They don't want young talent. They want win now guys and picks. So that's what we kind of don't have. That's what we don't really have that. And they have a 35-year-old DeMar that they just signed. They're not just going to tank now. They're trying to at least show the fans that they're attempting. So
out of the box, I kind of like it.
Yep. And Levine, Chicago's trying to offload him. At this point, if Chicago get 3 firsts for Levine, they would take that heartbeat after all they've been through with him.
Yeah.
Get him off.
There was no market in the summer.
And then expiring CP this summer, Harrison expiring next summer, so they could, get them off the books and just start with all their picks and all that. So I saw that one. The numbers worked. I love that one. But yeah, what I'm hearing and seeing a lot of is it's most likely going to have to be a 3-teamer. Whoever gets involved, Utah, Miami, whoever gets involved, Phoenix, just to make numbers work. Or we're going to get multiple players back and we send multiple players. And like you said, Reagan, we're sending 5 first, but I made the point the other day. Guys, if we're winning in the playoffs, last thing on our mind is going to be, who are we drafting this summer?
Yeah.
Like right now and last year,
we didn't know what the draft was for 20 years.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's all we've been talking about the past couple of years. Oh, please, let's get a lotto pick. We're not going to give a shit. We're going to be thinking about what's happening in May and June this year, who we're going to be playing in the playoffs. So I'm not worried about giving up picks at this point anymore.
Tim, what you got?
I'm not smart enough to come up with the 3-team, 4-team trades, but I found a couple online about kind of what you guys said already, like Detroit getting involved. If this somehow tied into a Miami Jimmy Butler trade and, DeRozan going to Miami, Jimmy going to Sacramento, they kind of just flip-flop, like aging all-stars. But yeah, in a couple of these trades I found, we're not giving up any of our young guys, no Devin, no Jeremy. There's a couple that have Zach involved. Obviously, we would all love to get off that contract. Harrison, I mentioned it before the pod started. Harrison wouldn't be able to be traded right back to Sacramento this season. So, if he was involved, a 3rd team would have to get involved in the trade. But if we're talking just straight up, I think I had Devin as well. And then Keldon or Trey, 4 first-round picks, like you guys just talked about. I'm not worried about our own 27 first-round pick, but I think we'd have to give up one of our 20. Sacramento probably wanting their pick back in 2031. I'd give it back to them. I don't care. And then, like Reagan said, also the Chicago pick that I think if it doesn't convey this year, it still has a chance to convey as a first-round pick in the next 2 years. I think it turns into top 8
protected.
So
the next 2 seasons. Yeah.
Good chance that could turn into a first round pick. So I'd get rid of those 4 draft picks if I had to choose. Devin, Trey. I'd like to keep Keldon. I like the way he's been playing this year. I want to keep Jeremy because of his defense. I know we talk about his offense and how we're not sure if he should even be out there in crunch time, but I'd like to keep Jeremy. That's all I have.
If it's literally yes or no, though, would you get rid of Jeremy? Hey, Jeremy has to be included or we're off the table and no Fox. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
If he had to be included, yes.
So. Okay. So Fox is worth it to get rid of. Yeah. Okay. I agree.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the middle of y'all two, Stu and Tim. I'm Keldon, Trey, Devin. Both of Atlanta's picks in the next 2 years. So this one coming up and next year's swap, our 2027, and then Chicago, the Chicago pick because of that reason. So 4 picks, 4 first
Fox
for Fox.
And who else?
Again, but just the numbers, we
and-
have to get someone else.
Kevin, whoever.
Herder?
Or whatever. Yeah, Herder. Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
he's a sniper, man. I'm down to get Herder.
Yeah, I don't
Dude,
mind
yeah,
that.
if Herder get Keldon and Devin both going in the same thing is gonna like
No, I know.
gotta shake that
Well,
off. But
right.
you get Herder
They
back,
were-
dude, sign me up.
So
They've been a part of our 2 worst seasons of franchise history. Oh,
I mean,
y'all
that's-
helped us
that's
so much.
true.
Boo hoo. Bye, Keldon. Bye, Devin. Y'all losers.
no, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. Dude, you and this losers, this is like that's your trademark. We're losers. You're a
2
loser.
weeks ago, last week, back to losers again.
So, and we were talking about this in the group message, is that, people in not Chicago, people in Sacramento, they're podcasters, they're sports writers, they're saying that, they think that they're going to get everything from us. They think
they're talking Castle. They're talking everyone.
They
Castle,
said,
Jeremy, Devin.
and
Plus
Devin.
picks.
Plus
That's
picks.
a bunch of picks.
And they think that we still way lost that trade. I'm like,
Yeah,
doesn't make any
absolutely
sense.
delusional.
so,
But
Right.
they're Sacramento fans. What would you expect? If you're a King fan, you got something wrong with your brain.
but you know what I was thinking though? It kind of reminds me of like the Lakers almost. I feel like the Lakers finally, for once in my life, the power that the Lakers have. You always see like Lakers fans on Twitter. They're always like, we'll give you like a second round pick for this All-Star.
Because they know
Donovan
everyone wants
Mitchell.
to go there. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So that I kind of feel like the Lakers finally at one time, because we've had a little bit of a
Role
leverage. So,
reversal.
yeah. So it'll be really interesting next time we talk about this. Next time we hop live on the air, something will have happened. Either we're extremely disappointed or we've got a new all-star on our team. So
Yeah. There's a couple scenarios that so I put out on our Twitter today to Spurs Twitter. I said, "Hey y'all, send me your trade package." So real quick, want to run these by because there's a couple cool ideas in here. One of them had us for nothing but De'Aaron Fox. We traded away Vassell, Wesley, our own 2025 first rounder, the Charlotte pick, our own 2027 first rounder, and then give Sacramento swap rights back on the first rounder in 2031.
That's probably what we
Before
started
picks,
our
Vassell
negotiations
and
with,
Wesley.
and they said absolutely not.
So, okay, I'm going to mention there's a few others. So that one's probably two Spurs favored. I know we mentioned Alex Len. So this has Fox and Len for Keldon, Trey, and Jeremy. A 2026 swap with Atlanta and a 28 swap with Boston.
I'd do it.
And then the two swaps with 26 Atlanta swap, 28 Boston swap. So it still keeps the majority of our high value picks.
I'd do it. How old is Alex Len? Does anyone know just off the top of their head?
31.
31.
Okay.
31, gonna be 32.
So height and weight.
He is he's 7-footer, 7'4"
He's a true
wingspan,
7-foot.
and he weighs 250.
I'd do it in his
He's
prime.
probably a cone at this time, but he's $2 million a year on his contract. It's just filler.
Yeah.
That was from Gabe Perez. Gabe Perez sent us a couple other ones. So this
Shout
one
out.
is De'Aaron Fox, Trey Lyles, and Alex Len. And we trade away Vassell, Jones, and Sohan, and those same two swaps. I kind of like that because we get Trey Lyles back. He's first
Nah.
like whatever.
Nah.
But-
Lyles
But
back.
yeah, I'm with y'all. Okay, so
I don't want
same
anyone
thing
from our
there.
old losing teams back on our team.
Yeah. Those city jerseys did look good on him though. And then
Lyles.
one other person, David Alba, said Castle is untouchable and probably Sohan and picks as well. I'd rather give out more picks.
I think all of us would agree right now. We'd rather give up another first round pick than have to give away Castle right now. We're not going to draft someone as good as Castle.
We hit on that pick. Like
So-
that's adding another maybe 2 first rounders just to keep Castle. Yeah, that's a hit right there. We're not giving them up.
That's what I talked about in our group message. I said it feels a little bit like that the Clippers before they got rid of SGA. They traded him to OKC. The Clippers acquired Kawhi in free agency, and Kawhi was like, "Go get Paul George." And he was like, all right, like you really want to deal SGA to OKC? Like Ty Lue literally told him, he's like, "Yo, this guy could be someone. Like this guy's gonna be great." And he's like, "Nah, go get Paul George." So
that worked out.
Yeah, we were talking about leverage earlier. Yeah, OKC had all the leverage in that trade.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either way, we've seen how that works out now. And I same kind of player a little bit. SGA,
Yeah,
6'6",
for
same
sure.
body build, same.
Couldn't shoot when they came in the league, and now look at him.
But still had strengths right off the bat.
I think Castle could be better than Fox in like 4 years. But from body type, if he gets a shot and stuff, his aggressiveness is unmatched. Like just having height and length is just
the
you
only
can't match
difference
that
is
as a
the
guard.
speed of Fox.
Right,
but
right,
like
right.
Yeah,
I think,
but then we'll
I
take
think,
Steph's strength over Steph has strength that Fox doesn't have.
facts, dude.
I think
So.
Stephon's been
we all
blowing
agree
through people.
Wemby and Castle only untouchables, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is what all
Absolute
these casuals who
untouchables,
haven't been watching Spurs games all year. That's why they're like, oh, they're gonna have to throw in Castle. Like, dude, we are not throwing Castle in right now. What are you talking about? Castle
There's
is
no
not
shot.
Yeah, Castle is
no
not
shot.
leaving the Spurs. I promise you that. Yes.
Oh
Castle,
man.
Castle and Wemby. Anyone else is
on the table.
They can be on the
It's
table.
a discussion. Yeah.
Yep.
As much as we don't want to give away Sohan, like he can be considered for the right.
So tell me this: if we don't, if we still have CP after this trade and Devin is gone in it, we sort of promised CP that he was going to be a starter this season, but we can't come out and start
Stephon back to the bench.
Steph onto the bench.
That's what's going to happen.
Dude, he's back to like 18
I know.
a game, bro.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Look at how he plays as a start. Because I was thinking we can't do Fox, CP, and Stephon.
Right.
But in a way, think about if we just had Fox and Stephon, and then if CP, because assume we give her a Trey, and if CP was running our second group, just like calming them down and stuff, that'd be so sick. But I was just thinking in my head, we couldn't do that. Like we probably promised CP that shouldn't happen.
Right. Because I think he came off the bench for the Warriors last year. He was upset about
and he
that.
was not in a good spot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I was thinking maybe that when I threw out that one earlier with the Chicago and we go to Harrison CP, hey, kind of like, at least we got him off our books and he was here. He helped us. Hopefully the boys learned from him for 4 months.
That's been a whole thing since this first became an idea several weeks ago. Is like in the back of my brain, like we still have Chris Paul on the roster
for this year. Yes,
it's
like awkward.
It crowds that position. Yeah, like
for sure.
It's not that Castle shouldn't start, and it's not that Fox shouldn't start, but it's also that Chris Paul shouldn't not start. Like they should all start.
Well.
But there's too many bodies at that one position. It
but then
makes it
also,
weird. But hey,
we
if we
just
got to get through it for 4
ourselves?
months, like, whatever.
Yeah. Are we just hindering ourselves though? If we have to start CP and Fox, that's two guys lacking on defense. They're both undersized. That just so we don't hurt Chris's feelings. Then I feel like then we're just that doesn't get us anywhere. Just to make CP sorry again, we don't owe you anything. No offense, you've been here for 4 months.
If all three of those guys were on the team after the deadline, Chris Paul, you're out of the starting lineup as well.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry. Have to sit down with Pop and say, sorry, bro. You can still get like 20 to 25 minutes a game, but you're going to have to be in those Trey Jones minutes. And I'm down for that, dude. He could run our second group. Like that'd be dope.
Trey would be gone in this.
Trey would be gone in the snare, I think.
Yeah.
Woo! Lots to think about, man. Lots to think about. It's exciting. We've got an all-star that wants to come to San Antonio mid-season. He's trying to force his way here.
Windhorst called it a year and a half ago.
Long time ago.
He said players are going to start wanting it. They're going to start asking to come to San Antonio.
Yeah.
And look at it. 1 year later, we got the first one.
That's so true, man. So true. It's smart of him. It's smart of De'Aaron to think that. It's kind of a win-win-win-win, right? Go back to San Antonio. He's from Texas. His wife is going to be happy and gets to play next to Wemby. All of the above. So
I wonder if he would want to come back as much as if his wife wasn't from here.
Maybe. I
wonder how much is family stuff and how much is Wemby and basketball. A little bit of both.
I bet it would be a little bit less, but I bet he would still see this as like a good situation for him.
For his prime, I want to be playing against this man to win some championships.
Right.
Yeah.
He's from Houston, isn't he? Right.
He's from outskirts of Houston. Yep.
Right. So there you go. All right. Well, enough of that. Spurs Bros, you best believe that we will be keeping in touch with you on social, keeping you up to date there. And then definitely by the time we talk next week, hopefully a deal will be done. All right. So Spurs Bros, moving on to more mundane news. Actually, it's not mundane. It's just back to negative Nancy news.
No, back to normal life. We suck. We lost again.
Right. That part. So the Spurs... Yes, we're literally recording this right after the LA Clippers game where we lost 128 to 116. We lost at home. And like you said, it's just back to reality. It sucks. Here's what I thought. Literally, I had this thought. I almost said it out loud. I don't know if you've heard this before. It's a life saying that, people, they're happy in all the same ways, right? Faith, family, friends, work life. Everyone's, they're happy. They're happy in the same ways, but people are unhappy in basically countless ways. You can be unhappy in countless ways. I feel like that is us with the Spurs right now. Like, we just lose in so many different ways. It's kind of hard to like pin us down. It's either a random role player or two goes off, which in this case, it was Zubac tonight with a 2020 game, his third in his career, or we're getting out physical. We don't show up in third quarters. We don't score in the first quarter, all the things. And it was sort of a mix of all that tonight. So y'all can kind of go into what y'all saw, but I wanted to touch on that last 4 minutes specifically whenever y'all hand back the mic.
Yeah, that's what I would say is it was the disappearing act at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And I was about to text you guys, did CP get hurt? Because he was nowhere to be found. And I know that lineup was working for an extended period from about 11-minute mark in the fourth quarter to the 5.5-minute mark. But we got to under 4 minutes before CP3 got subbed back in. It's just a failure and a passiveness from Mitch Johnson to ensure that the right people are on the court at the right times of the game. You see that start to slip away. We go on a crazy run to gain a significant lead in the fourth quarter. You see it start to get chipped away at. Kawhi Leonard's hitting impossible middies, and James Harden's getting to the rim. They got Norman Powell getting to the rim, and they got Zubac, like you said, 2020 game. You're seeing that happen, and you're just letting things go until there's a natural break in the game. Insert yourself as a coach, as the head coach, call a timeout, and get your leader of a point guard back on the floor. The guy that we subbed out for was Keldon Johnson. Keldon does not run the offense. Chris Paul runs the offense.
Right.
You have to have Chris Paul, point guard, on the court before we get to less than 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. He sat 8+ minutes. You saw him having to stretch his 39-year-old body, get loose all over again. Can't happen, Mitch. Like, I love the passion earlier in the game in the third quarter, stepping up for your boys, but oh my God, like, I'd rather him be mundane and get the substitutions right than what happened tonight. It was Alec, it was a new way to lose. But it's not new. We've done that many times over the last 3 years.
Man, I actually missed the first 4 or 5 minutes of the fourth. So yeah, that sucked seeing what the score was.
That was the best time.
Yeah.
People who don't watch the Clippers, I've been in this fantasy basketball league. Stewart was in it for 7 years, and I have Zubac and Norm Powell both on my team. They've been kind of doing this all year long. They killed us tonight. Kawhi is finally back. He killed us tonight. So yeah, those three guys were unbelievable. Zubac, he's turned into this man, like, he can really overpower people, and he made Wemby at times look just really out physical to him. Chris Paul being out there in crunch time, I always defend and bring up Trey Jones. Again, I just looked it up. He had one of the only positive plus minuses of the night. I'd also be okay with him being out there to settle things down, get the right guy the ball. So yeah, another crunch time failure. Don't like seeing it, but we went on 2 different big time runs, and I'm sick of us giving the lead right back, or like a 2-point game getting right back up to a 12-point game. It's it's frustrating.
But just we know, is like, just from playing basketball our whole life and watching and stuff, like, how does he not know as an NBA coach? I know he's not technically a head coach, but he is now. And how do you not know that, like, the guys who go on the run, thank you for getting us here, but at the end of the game, it's like Reagan said, you have to have point guard in there. You have to have your best players back in at the end of the game to finish, because, like, that's who you trust most in those moments, not the guys who are bench players and they happen to, get hot and catch you back up in the game. In all of our years, like, when we'd be having a bad game or whatever, Manu and the backup group will lead us back. Guess what? Tim and Tony are still coming in those last 5 minutes to bring us home. And guess what? We lose or die by the sword of Tim and Tony. Now we're getting mad about, Keldon being in there. Dude, the 5 that was in, we had Jeremy, Keldon, and Castle all on the floor at once. That's 3 guys who are broke. They can't shoot the ball. Devin can't really shoot threes. It was a good five that like sporadic five. It was sporadic. They can all drive. They're all kind of physical, whatever. Got us back into it. Yes, that's what we needed. Some craziness. But then when it's possession by possession down those last 4 minutes, he has to have the right lineups, and
he has to get in before the last 4 minutes.
That's what we've been seeing these last 3 months.
People are gonna say that like we're hypocrites because last week we were talking about, oh, you subbed these guys out and you didn't leave that lineup in, but that was in the third quarter. This is in the fourth quarter today when we made our run to pull ahead, and the last 5.5 to 6 minutes of the game, you have to have your closing lineup on the court unless there's a weird matchup that you've game planned into the plan for the entire game that this guy has to be on the court when this guy is on the court. Unless that's the case, which was not against the Clippers, you've got to have that closing lineup in, and it wasn't. It was too late. It was too late. Spurs fans are some of the most loyal people in the league, but they were walking out with 3 minutes left down 10 because they could see the writing on the wall.
And that's I texted you. That's when I turned it off. You knew after those Devin 2 missed free throws. I know, Alec, you're about to get into it, and they go on a quick 5-0 run. You knew that this year's Spurs team, that was it. That was over. Maybe past Spurs teams, it wasn't over, down 10 with 3 minutes. But this year's team, I turned it off. It was over.
Yep, exactly. I think you guys did a great job. I'll bring us home. Tim, great point about Tre Jones. He played a great game. But as soon as I think about Tre Jones, I think about this. We all hate Kawhi, of course, right, for what he did to us. But when he's out there, he's Kawhi.
He's a killer.
He's an absolute killer. We call him a robot. He's just so good. And for true hoopers, that like when he's on the floor, he makes you pay. Like Sean Elliott uses this term a lot. He smells blood in the water. And it's so true. It's like, oh, you missed? You got a bad possession? Okay, I'm going to come down. I'm going to catch it in the mid post. I'm going to go tween, get to my spot, fade away off the right corner. Or if you guard me on that right corner, I'm going to fade back, turn on my right shoulder, boom. And then you leave them open because Harden drives to the basket, Kawhi knocked down for 3. Like, he's just a killer. And he's so calm and composed about it. That's what we're missing. It's like you're looking at the score and we're having to fight for bucket after bucket, tooth and nail, and they're still up 4. They're still up 6 because Kawhi is like, you miss? Okay, layup, foul, whatever it is. And so bringing this back to Tre, late in the game, you had the play break down. I think Wemby was on the bench by then, and you had the play break down, and it's like left in Tre Jones's hand to go try to make something out of nothing. Shot clock winding down. Luckily he gets fouled. I think Harden runs into him, bumps him, so he gets free throws. But he got bailed out earlier in the game. You had Harrison Barnes, shot clock winding down. He's left with it. Tween. He's trying to dance on James Harden. Hezzy hang pull for a 3. Clank. We don't have that person in there. And that's why, hopefully by next week we will in a De'Aaron Fox. But that's left to be seen. So that's number one. Number two is like we talked about, how we lost that game was tough because Spurs Bros, who didn't see, it was back and forth. And then late in the third, I guess it was, we go down 16 at one point, and then we come back and we ended up taking the lead up by 2. Wemby's back in the game. We've got our 5 back in the game, minus Chris Paul. And it's literally, I saw this, less than 4 minutes left. They score. We get the ball. Wemby catches. He goes at Zubac. He misses. And Wemby, I think it was Kevin Porter Jr. who grabs the rebound right underneath our basket. Wemby stays up top, and he's like trying to like swat and swipe, and he draws a foul. That's Wemby's 5th foul. They're in the bonus. So they go down. They make 2 free throws, and Wemby's got 5 fouls. We come back down. Devin Vassell gets all, antsy with it, and he comes up fake, fouls, goes to the free throw line, and he's like, kind of John with the Clippers, and he's like, yeah, and he proceeds to miss 2 free throws. They come back down. Norm Powell says, oh yeah, Wemby has 5 fouls. He probably can't be as aggressive. I've got him in a mismatch. Goes at him, scores. And then it's over from there. Jeremy catches it in the corner. He can't shoot. He almost shoots the 3. It's a discombobulated play. And then Chris Paul comes back in. That's the game. It's so frustrating.
It's like that, dude. It was those 2 minutes, and it happened so fast.
It was fast. It looks, again, discombobulated, and they just take advantage. Kawhi was on the bench for like all that rest of the third quarter, basically all that fourth quarter. He comes in with 3 minutes, 4 minutes left. It's okay. I'll go ahead and end the
Time to win
game.
game.
Yeah, time to win game.
Mid-range.
So
Layup. Time to win
extremely
game. Robot
right,
Kawhi.
extremely frustrating, man. And they're a team that turns the ball over a lot. James Harden had like 4 turnovers in the first quarter.
He didn't even play well.
He didn't
Harden
play
didn't
that
even
well.
play a good game.
Right.
Again, I
Right.
feel like I say it every week. A
Yeah.
superstar doesn't play a good game, and we don't take advantage of it.
Right.
Come on, you've
Right.
got to close stuff down.
But we got out rebounded like crazy tonight, and part of that was because of Zubac. He had like 9 or 10 offensive rebounds at least.
Yeah, it goes back to us still not having a backup center. Jeremy was in there as our backup center, and Zubac was eating him up.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've completely given up on like.
Yeah, we don't
Bassey
even
or
play
Collins.
Bassey and Collins anymore.
Yeah.
Literally, Mamu gets some sporadic
Oh,
minutes, but
absolutely.
Jeremy's our backup 5.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like,
Yeah, 6'8".
like so we spent the first 30 minutes of this podcast talking about a Fox trade. Like, we have to find a way.
Which is why that Alex Len,
upgrade
at
our
least he's
backup
a
center.
7', 250 guy.
Yeah.
Like, at least we
Yeah.
have a big body in there. My goodness, bro. Jeez.
Yeah.
Like a veteran center. Yeah, big but legit 7-footer. That's why I don't want that to be necessary to get the Fox trade done, is because I think there's another trade that we can make happen. We can throw in some sweeteners with some picks for Zach
Let's just do it
Collins'
all.
like contract, make the money work, and go get a Valanciunas or somebody else of that kind of caliber to upgrade our backup center position. It has
Let's go
to
get
happen.
Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton from Brooklyn. Boom.
Go rescue them from
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
but both of them and Fox, then we're a playoff team for sure this year.
We're a top 5 team in the West at that point, dude. But that's going to take like 7 first-rounders to do that.
Oh,
Yeah,
You
yeah.
want to put 7 first-rounders into Claxton,
Dude, I'll
Fox,
throw
and
9.
Cam Johnson?
I'll throw 9. I don't care.
That's all we
We
got.
just all we got, dude. Yeah.
Throw them all.
The decade.
We
Jeez.
fill all the holes. Bench player, star, and backup center. Boom.
Everybody, I'd like to welcome in Matt Ishbia to the podcast, new owner of the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
Right. Basically.
We
Come
did
on,
it
Stu.
all.
So yes, extremely frustrating, as you can't tell, Spurs Bros. And I mean, again, we deserve to be frustrated at this. So that's not the only loss we took over the last time we spoke. Before that Clippers game, we had we were
Bonjour.
traveling. Yes, we were traveling back from Paris, and we
Oui,
played oui, bonjour, merci beaucoup, all the things.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Paris.
Yes, great.
A
we
little flat pancake. A little flat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are good. Sounds like a nice anybody? No.
yes, yes,
Ricky Bobby.
yeah.
All right, I'm done.
That's good. So yes, over the last week, we were playing in Paris. Wemby was extremely excited to go back home, as we talked about on our last podcast. If y'all listened, that Wemby was looking forward to that since the Miami game, even before the Miami game. He said that's all I can think about. Well, clearly, because we lost against Miami, got 20-pieced. Either way, we go over there. It's a great time. Everyone says, hey, we got closer, right? We did things off the court. Our bond strengthened. We were out of the country. Wemby, he pulled some special dinners together, hand-picked restaurants. He wanted to really show him his hometown, and everyone was super appreciative of it. Chris Paul talked a lot about it. Harrison Barnes just talked about his just being mature, just him being in his zone. And so that was cool to see. You get to that first game against the Pacers, and we absolutely destroy them, as we hoped, right? I mean, we had lost a lot of games prior to that. We had lost, I think we were still 3-7 in our last 10, and we win 140-110. We set a franchise record 43 assists in that game. So we weren't joking about this whole
I didn't know
camaraderie
that.
thing. Yep. We came together like crazy. Any lineup that was out there, I mean, everyone looked good together. Wemby
Shots
led
were
the way.
falling.
Shots were falling. Wemby led the way with 30 points, 11 boards, 5 blocks. It was just awesome to see. It was an awesome sight to see. We came out strong. It was close back and forth for a little bit. We were down, and then we, boom, came back, went on a run. We never looked back. So that was good.
It looked great. I mean, it felt like, I know it was 1:00 our time, Central, but it felt like the entire NBA community was watching. There were countless stars in attendance for that game. It felt like a big time deal. It had kind of all-star game vibes with the amount of people that you saw in the crowd. I think there was over like 50 countries represented, and the people that bought tickets sold out within 24 hours of those tickets going on sale. It was a big deal there at the Louis Vuitton fashion show. Everything, like it was an awesome environment. Time to show out, and Wemby absolutely did. He just put on full display why he is the future face of the National Basketball Association, and we went to work on the Pacers. And I said it last week. I said, hey, if we're gonna look like and lose to the Heat and lose to everybody the way that we did the week leading up to these games, Wemby better go off, and he did in that first game. In the first game, he did 30-point win, and we looked fantastic.
Yeah, I wasn't as hyped up about it as everyone else was. I said going in, like, I mean, I called 1-1. It's what we did end up being, but we'll get to the second game in a minute. But, I mean, I said we all knew going in it was going to be up-tempo. Like, if we made shots, we were going to win. And we didn't make shots in game 2 and we lost. But we were just hot. We're not putting up 140 probably the rest of the season. Indiana has an defense, and we were hitting shots. It is what it is. I wouldn't say we're playing great ball. They don't play good defense. And guess what? We're knocking out some shots. Good job, fellas. What happened? We went home and went to sleep, and then we got on the next night. All right, you're up, Tim.
Yes. I
Set the table for Tim. He doesn't even talk about the win.
No, I wasn't even. I missed most of both games. Yeah, I didn't really get to watch them.
Yeah.
So I took away most of the off the court stuff, the traveling to see the city, the holding training sessions with the kids. I appreciated all of that stuff. In hindsight, that 30-point blowout win, it doesn't do much for me anymore. You come back next game and get blown out even worse than you blew them out. And how's that possible after a 30-point win? But yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to take away from the actual 2 games against the Pacers. Like Stu said, that's what they're all about. It's in their name. They run the fastest pace, one of the fastest paces in the league. They blew us out. I remember that game last year. It was one of the first games of the year. They killed us in Indiana. And yeah, we couldn't keep up with the pace second game. And, you just have to try to outscore them. And yeah, I'm not sure how it happened that first game, but tale of 2 games.
Yeah, because we saw game 2, their playoff team, because they know how to adjust after game 1. We didn't make any adjustments after game 1. Mitch just went, hey, I'll play good. Do the same stuff on Saturday. We'll get the win. No, they made adjustments. They full court pressed us the whole game in the NBA. You don't do that. They full court pressed us, and we were just out of whack the whole game. Everyone knows. I'm glad they didn't do it to us game 1, because they would have done that to us game 1 as well. But everyone knows if you put some pressure on our guards, game over. Be physical with Wemby, game over. And it was game over pretty quick in that one.
Pacers are legit, dude. They've won 15 of 20.
Yeah.
They've won 15 of 20. They are on a heater right now.
And they got a
They're
great
legitimate. Coach. Yeah, Rick Carlisle's a top 5 coach in the league. I love Rick, yeah. I don't think that's a question of really anybody. But yeah, dude, they're a good team. And I said last week, I'm not going to be any more enthused about this Spurs team with the roster as it stands unless we come back from Paris 2-0. And we didn't. It was the same deal. We had a great looking win and then an awful, awful loss, right? Following it up. And it's this whole thing with consistency. We've talked about it with Devin Vassell in particular, but it's the thing with the team. If you're able to go out there and win by 30 on a Thursday, 2 days later, why can't you go at least win that next game? You have the formula. You get complacent. And I watched on Twitter, Chris Paul was mic'd up in that second game, and he was in everybody's ear talking about, hey man, this is like the playoff setting. This is another one of those home and away games, a back-to-back like the Nuggets earlier in the year. He's talking to him in that first game about don't let them get their rhythm. The last, in that fourth quarter, the game was a clear W, but he was talking about keep pressing, stay on them, foot on their throat kind of deal. Don't let them feel any sort of success or momentum going into that second game, because they're going to adjust and it's going to be a different ball game. They're going to come out playing harder than we are in 2 days. And then it's exactly what he warned all of our young guys about. It's like it was in one year, right out the other. Let's go hit Paris again and have a good time. And it was just like we got complacent, dude. Oh, we got our win. Cool. Sweet. But that's the piece that's missing for me is it's the mental consistency to go out there and do it again and prove that you're an above average squad. Right now we're just flirting with mediocrity like it's our long lost love, and we can never give that up. Forget mediocrity, dude. Take the next step and go find winning basketball. That should be your soulmate.
That's facts.
Oh wow, clip that for sure. That's so good. So good and so true. So true.
Dude, and talking about game 2 again, let's just get back into Mitch real quick. Do y'all remember texting on Saturday? We were down big at half or whatever. Whole third quarter, we 13. Fought back. We fought back. Cut it to 8. Cut it to 4. Cut it to 2 with 2.5 minutes left. Dead ball. Mitch, all right, let's get all the guys who just fought their asses back to get us back in the game. Took out 3 guys at once. After the game, he admitted I screwed up. I shouldn't have. Took out 3 guys all at once in 2.5 minutes. Going into the fourth quarter, we're down 16. Yep. They went on like a 14 to or whatever, like a 20-4 run in 2.5 minutes, and all our hard work in the core was down again because Wemby went out, Castle went out, and maybe Chris went out, whoever. But he took out 3 guys at once. Never do that in the NBA. What are we doing? Running 5 in, 5 out.
It's exactly what happened.
Dude, and how familiar does that sound to tonight, to the Clippers? We fight. We even take a 2-point lead today, and then it's like, okay, we did our job. Game over, and we lose by 12, whatever we lost by tonight.
Right.
Like it's like the job's not done, fellas. There's more game to play, and it's the consistency with the players. It's improvement from our coaching staff right now also.
I can't wait for Pop to be back.
That's exactly right. Guys, I think y'all covered a lot of it. I wanted to get into that. I mean, I guess we didn't foresee, but Tyrese Halliburton, he was a big part of that run at the very end of that third quarter. Huge. He had like 14 or 16, 17.
He had 18 in the quarter.
18 in the corner, and it was literally like four
he had like
in a row.
4 threes in a row.
A fadeaway off the glass, but Wemby hit one off the glass too, so whatever.
I know, and I can't stand him because
good
of that
players
goofy
make
smile
tough shots.
and
I can't stand
weird,
Tyrese
ugly
Halliburton.
release.
His whack shot,
his whack
annoying.
Shot. Gosh.
His voice sounds like this.
Trying to pick up Caitlin Clark because he's in Indiana with. Gosh, I'm sure.
Indy? No, dude, that's Pat.
Trying to crack jokes. Come on. Okay, whatever. Either way, it was exactly that. It was coaching. It was can't handle the pressure. So and what I told y'all guys was I was so pissed. I was like, when are we going to be tired? That's my biggest takeaway from that loss was when are we going to be fed up with getting pushed around? Like seriously, like why are we okay with that? Like I don't get it. Like there's zero pride there. Like are we timid? Are we trying to be too cool? Like do you get what I'm saying? Like is Devin trying to be like too cool? Is Wemby like too much of a? He's an alien. He's got so much aura. And what's going on to where it's like be ugly but be freaking physical. Like
give me some nasty.
Give me some nasty, as Coach Pop would say. Right? Like I wanted that, man. I want that. And and Trey Jones, he gives that to us in spurts. I mean, as Tim said, like he's one of the only few players with positive plus minus on the team, third in our team, and he plays hard every time he's on the court. And Stephon, of course, and Harrison does his job. But man, beyond that, it's just like
even then they still get pushed around. They're not like some physical body. Like our whole team gets pushed around.
Castle and Sohan are the only ones that ever try to impose their physicality at all.
Half
the time, Sohan's getting moved when he has the ball.
Whatever, and kind of a no-name Zubac just had 20 boards on us tonight. That doesn't show we wanted it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's foul out.
It's a different level of want that the Pacers displayed by going full court for 40 out of 48 minutes in that game.
Yeah.
Would our guys ever show that level of consistent effort for that much of the game to go above and beyond to get a win?
I think a few guys would. Actually, I do think
that's the problem. A few guys would.
Yeah.
A few guys would. It was the entire roster that stepped on that court was ready to pick up 94 feet.
TJ McConnell all the way down
Turner,
to Thomas Bryant.
Nemhard.
Exactly.
That's why they're a playoff team.
Yep, that's the difference. It's the consistency, the mental toughness, and fortitude to be able to put in the over-the-top effort throughout a game to go do something uncomfortable to get a win.
Yes. Instead of trying to look the part or whatever and look flashy and hit a long 3 step back, whatever, shimmy, hang pull.
You say all this and I just think of Devin Vassell.
I was thinking of a few people, but yeah, man, he was one of them. That's it. That was
Oh,
my
how
biggest
life has
takeaway.
hit.
I know, man.
Oh, how life has hit. Y'all were dogging on me just 3 short months ago, boys, saying, "Oh,
Stuart was right.
Devin Vassell can't come off the bench. He's a starter. Oh, God, he makes 35 million a year." And now look at all of us. Get him off the team. He's our first. All four of our first names tonight to get rid of to get De'Aaron Fox. Devin Vassell. Ciao, buddy.
Ciao. You're not wrong. It's brutal, boys. So we are still in the thick of it. We're still in the middle of the season, but it's not getting any better for us as far as the schedule strength goes. And then also
The road trip.
the road trip's coming up. We still got 2 more games of our 3-game homestand. Those are not going to be easy. We got the Bucks coming up, the Heat again.
Bucks, Heat at home, and then we're traveling to the Grizzlies, the Hawks, the Hornets, and then the Magic and the Wizards and the Celtics. That's our road trip. Those 6 games.
That's it.
And we're pulling further and further away from 500 as well. So
now we're 20-24.
24. Exactly. We are 2-8 in our last 10. And as Reagan said last week, we are closer to the Trailblazers than we are to the playing spot now. So congratulations, boys. That's what happens when you don't nut up, and Mitch just continues to stay passive on the sideline, except for tonight, but it's not what we needed from him tonight. So we're in the thick of it, boys. We are in the thick of it. But hopefully we can look back on this in about a year or two and be in a better mood and say, hey, remember when we were all stressed out middle of 2024, 2025 season?
I mean, yeah, it's the same thing I'm doing right now. Like my theme, nobody wants to hear it, but perspective. You're talking about a year or two from now. A year or two ago, we were winning 22 games in the season. We're already at 20 wins. We're doing all right. There's a lot of room for improvement. We have our sights set on something bigger, and we all feel it's attainable, and that's why we're frustrated.
It's hard to win when you got a bunch of losers on your team.
Come on, De'Aaron. Make it happen. Brian.
Really, all we have to do is look ahead. At our schedule. Hope that De'Aaron Fox is on our team by next year.
I think I'm looking more ahead to the trade deadline than Wemby was looking ahead to Paris. So the next 2 games against the Bucks and the Heat and the Grizzlies, those are the 3 games we have got before we likely record next Tuesday. I could see us going 0-3. Sorry. Sorry. So this has got me down. The Pacers loss and then the way that we fell apart again to the Clippers has me down bad, and looking forward to my favorite day of the year, which is trade deadline day next Thursday. I could very easily see us going 0-3.
I'm going 1-2. Yeah, I think we could go 0-3, but I think we squeak one of them out. But I think we beat Miami this time around.
All right. Yeah, I think we put up
that's the most winnable game.
I think we put up a good fight against the Bucks, but it's not enough, and I think we lose that one. I think we beat the Heat and beat the Grizzlies. I say 2-1.
Oh,
Grizzlies are so solid.
I know.
I was about to say 2-1. I thought I was going to be the only one to say it, but no, I'll say Bucks, Heat, we win, but no way we beat the Grizzlies.
Okay.
Yeah, no way, Grizzlies.
Yeah, dude, Santi Aldama's going to go for another 30 on us. 30 minutes.
Right. Gosh. So, all right.
Well, let's just have a quick little end segment on, since by next week it'll be trade deadline. What do we want? Like, what will we be happy with? Is it Fox or like unsuccessful trade deadline, or does that what does everyone want to happen, and what will they be like satisfied with?
If Fox gets traded and it's not to us, I'll be upset. I'll be pissed. But if he's still a king at the deadline, then I'll be okay.
But if we don't make any moves, will you be okay? Or is that just showing lack of respect kind of to everyone? Like, Brian, what the hell if you don't make any moves with how we're looking?
I agree. Reagan's been saying it, backup center. I don't know who it's going to be, but we need a backup center. And I mean, if we're not going to do anything else, maybe think about giving away CP3 and Harrison. I don't know.
Yeah, at this point, just tank. Fuck it.
Yeah, Tim, I think if we don't go and at minimum upgrade the backup center position, then I think you're absolutely right. We have to consider trading away the 2 vets to get more, eat a contract or 2, get capital and sell the year. Like this is the most stacked class in a long time. If we're not gonna make a trade to upgrade, we have to make a trade to worsen our chances at this season. We've been saying since the day CP3 got signed, he's not going to be here next year. So you follow that path, and if we're not going to go and upgrade the roster to make a push for the play-in or playoffs, I mean, somebody's got to go.
Yeah,
you got to do something to gain more assets going into this summer. Yeah, I would love to see us though at a minimum. I would be happy to make that trade for backup center. People on my list are people like Mark Williams. Daniel Gafford has been floating around as somebody that could be available. Stuart mentioned Nick Claxton in Brooklyn earlier. Walker Kessler has a steep price coming out of Utah. Danny Ainge, I heard, wants 2 first-round picks for him. Goga Batadze probably is not getting moved out of Orlando. But he's somebody on the list. Robert Williams has been made available by Portland. I don't think the price is very steep on him. Jakob Poeltl could always come back to San Antonio. There are people out there as a backup center that could upgrade this position, and we could not have to rely on a 6'9" Jeremy Sohan to be our starting power forward and simultaneously be our backup center. You make a move on a front there, dump Zach Collins, throw in a pick or two that we don't necessarily care about, 2 or 3 second rounders. Just get it done. Upgrade the roster. Otherwise, you got to ship somebody out and embrace the tank again.
I completely agree. Sold me. Yeah. If we just made absolutely no move, it would be hard to be a Spurs fan for the rest of this year with our front office. It'd be hard to respect them if we didn't even get. I'd respect them more if we got rid of people, like you said, it's not, you never want a tank or whatever, but it's like, why take a 10th or 11th pick in this draft when you could have a top 5 when it's like all 5, 6 top guys are franchise changers. So if we just made no move, it'd be very hard to the rest of this year. Obviously, best case scenario would be like Fox, two guys. Just if we improved a little bit, if it's not Fox, any of those names, Reagan, obviously backup center as we're seeing is our biggest need. So,
but
that's where I'm at.
Imagine looking up at Wemby in his eyes and be like, "All right, buddy, hear me out. We're gonna tank again." like you can't just do that. You can't just do that to Wemby, dude. Like,
that's true.
Like, you really, Brian, you're going to go tell him after all you did, we won 22 games your first year in the league, and then you come and you put in all this work. You're going to be an all-star. You're going to be DPOY. You're going to do all this stuff. Hear me out, buddy. Look, we got this plan. There's this Trey Johnson guy at around the eight spot. I promise he's going to be the killer. So, I don't know. That doesn't work. I feel like Wemby would be like, come on, do something, man. Do something.
Dude, it's a players' league today. We got to keep him happy. I'm sorry. Like I said the other day, seeing all this buzz, if I'm Wemby, I'm going in and saying, hey, sorry, like I'm Wemby. I want him on my team. Get it done. Like walk out of the office. Like it's a players' league. if Wemby were to leave us, we would never be Spurs fans again. But yeah, Wemby, I know he keeps,
that would test me. That would test me hard if we let go of Wemby for any reason whatsoever.
Well, if he left, is my point, because he was unhappy with us in 4 years. That would be incredible. So
we're not going there.
Yeah,
think about if we can transform Trey Jones, Devin Vassell, and/or Keldon Johnson and Zach Collins and turn that into De'Aaron Fox and let's say Robert Williams and maybe a Kevin Huerter or an Alex Len.
Yeah, and like 4 firsts. Yeah, that'd be great.
I know the picks are going out the door. But I'm saying just from a player's sake.
Yeah.
Let's go make some noise, boys.
Because all that of getting rid of DJ, getting rid of Derek to Boston, getting their first rounder, getting rid of our 8th pick this past year, picking up these 2 random 30 and 31st. Yeah, DeMar getting to Chicago first. All that has led to what? We haven't seen yet. If it leads to this, then
at least this
no one is complaining about it. Yes.
It's either we just don't know. Deadline or this free agency or next trade deadline. and I know nobody wants to wait till next trade deadline. Like we'd love a little gift
Yes.
on February 6th this year.
That would be quite nice. That'd be quite nice. So yes, Spurs Bros, we will see. We will see. There's a lot to go on. Oh, last thing I forgot to mention. Did y'all see that AJ DeBansa, the projected #1 overall pick, and not this year's draft, but next year's draft, was in Paris.
Here we go.
Was in Paris, supposedly to watch Wemby, him and his dad. Dude, I think he's gonna will this into existence, man.
He's
I think
glazing Wemby hard, bro.
Dude, little big
like
glaze.
they're in the middle. They're in the middle of their season, and he's in Paris, instead of Utah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. That's it's wild, dude. Yeah,
he even said like, "Hey, I would love to play for them," and I thought at one point it might be a possibility. Now it's probably out of reach, but imagine what could have been. Like, dude, if the Hawks blow it up.
Yeah,
we swapped that pick in 26. Come on home, AJ. Yeah, that'd be cool. But I'm not going to get my hopes up for that one.
No. Yeah. So that's the last thing I had. I wish I would have edited it back into the middle because that was pretty wild to me.
That was the second time in like 3 weeks he said I would love to play with Wemby.
Yeah, he's like, imagine me and him.
And
together.
then he falls.
And then he shows up in Paris.
In Paris.
What the hell?
Like, dude, don't you have history?
Yeah,
today?
Don't you have like algebra 2?
Obviously not, but like, don't you have somewhere to be that's not a different continent?
Yeah. Seriously, man. So that's all we have, fellas. Man. Let's do this.
All right, everybody. From the Spurs Bros, come on home, Deer and Fox, and go Spurs, go.